It's 60-some degrees here in Chicago. I've made a smoothie. And yet I'm still wearing a sweater. Because who doesn't love sweaters? So I totally lied when I told you guys there wasn't going to be a video this week. And I realized that I could totally fit in a video because I don't leave till Wednesday evening. So here's the video of the week. So not only did I have a great weekend because I got paid to babysit and I got paid for having my room open for our college's open house, but I also got to spend some time with my family and Noemi as well. So yesterday I got to hang out with my aunt and her son, which is my cousin, and his wife. And we went around and saw the Bean, and we went to Buckingham Fountain, and then we ate at the bar across the street. And it was so nice to spend time with them and see them and just hanging out with them. On Saturday, my mom invited Noemi and I to go to her meeting because they were talking about human trafficking. And that's what I want to talk to you guys about today, just some information and some important facts. And I want to specify that I am not a victim of human trafficking. I never have been. I am not a spokesperson or anything. I just want to give you guys some important information that I think you need to know. I'm going to try and make this video as short as possible because although I want to give a lot of information, I don't want it to be overbearing or longer than 20 minutes or something, but I do want to stress that it is very important, and I learned a lot of stuff actually. So yeah. So the facts I'm going to give you are based on Indiana law offices. There have been 123 case victims of human trafficking in the state of Indiana alone. But according to the U.S. Department of State, 27 million people are victims of human trafficking, and that's mind-blowing to me, and it's so scary. So human trafficking, the normal age for that is 12 to 14-year-olds, normally girls. There have been boy cases, but it is mainly young girls who are put into this horrible, horrible lifestyle. They are victims of poverty, of rough backgrounds, not getting enough attention. And so what will happen is these girls will meet these wonderful men, or sometimes these men will have women working for them in their name. So they'll come up to them and ask them, oh, what's wrong? Like, they'll see them crying or something, like after a breakup, and they'll comfort them, and they'll give them things, and they'll make them feel loved. But what happens is, hey, I gave you this, that costs a lot of money, I need some money. They're going to make you pay them back, and that's when the cycle starts. So basically what happens is these men, or the women who work for these men, have these young women advertised as sex, people who give sex, and so these young women have sex 12 times a day with many numerous people. And so they get this money and give it to those men or women who are in charge. One thing that can indicate a victim of human trafficking is the person can't hold on to their documents. They may seem scared or a little off. If they're somewhere in public, like they're on extra alert of things. They suffer from any type of abuse of their relationship with the person they're in a relationship with, who who do these horrible things to them. And they're very untrusting of other people. They don't want to give you information. They don't want to do many things that can give away their identity or what they do. There are a lot more red flags for these type of people who are part of human trafficking, and I can give you guys a link down below for the list I was given, so you guys can get more info on the signs that someone may be a part of human trafficking. Next thing I want to talk about is trauma bonding, which is similar to the Stockholm Syndrome, which means that no matter how much abuse that these young women go through, they keep going back and back and back to these men who constantly beat them and sell their bodies for money. And the reason why this is that these young women, no matter how much abuse they have that little tiny bit of affection towards them. Whether they have the man beat them many times a day or whatever, it just takes the one, it's gonna be okay, or I love you, or something very soothing to them, and that pulls them right back in to where they started from before. It's basically an addiction to how they're feeling, to this pain, because no matter how much pain they get, it gives them satisfaction once they get the very comforting words from that person. Another indicator of a human trafficking victim is their behaviors. Most of them are nervous or jittery. They have very depressing thoughts. They have Stockholm syndrome. They have terror or pain spells. They're very fearful and also hopeless about their future. They're very just negative, very sad young women. Also, the lifespan of a human trafficker is only 7 years. If a girl at the age of 14 gets into this horrible thing, she'll live most likely to be 21. It's not a life. 21 is nothing. I'm only 22 and I've experienced a lot, but I still have so much more to experience, and I can't imagine losing my life at this age, you know. So because these women have trauma bonding, most of the time it is very, very difficult to track down the men who are in charge of these women, because the women are unwilling to compromise with cops and unwilling to give away their identity, because although they are victims of this horrible crime, it is still a crime and they are still participating. So they don't want to get caught or anything like that. When I was at the meeting, we heard a story from an officer who said his partner went and set up a meeting with a girl who was offering an erotic massage. And so he got in the room, she agreed to the sex, and he did as well, but then once he told her that he was an undercover cop, she bolted. They were in an outdoor hotel, very, very low price hotel, very shady, and they were at an outdoor hotel, and she went out the door, jumped over the ledge, and landed on the ground. And so the officer was telling us that, oh, she's dead, don't have to worry about it. No, she started running even further, ran into the janitor's closet, and they found her there with broken hips, broken pelvis, and several other injuries. But the fact that she risked her life just so she wouldn't get caught or wouldn't have the man be found out is just so sad, that these women, they start out with these normal lives, and then these horrible, horrible men entrap them in this horrible crime. They brainwash them to where these women don't want anything else. They just want this life because even though it makes them sad and everything, it's that one hope as the trauma bonding that keeps them going. They were also talking about at the meeting where this young woman, they got her out. She went to school, she was going to school to get her PhD, she had her PhD, and yet she still wanted that life. And it's just amazing in an awful way how they get so engulfed, and it's crazy how the brain reacts to trauma. There was a woman talking there who was talking about the trauma bonding, and she was talking about how a certain part of our brain, I believe it's the amygdala, don't quote me on that, but it's what controls the trauma, and it's very small. And when a body is overwhelmed with trauma, the brain has a certain section for it. And so when these women are in trial and they're telling these awful, awful stories, they have no expressions on their face, and therefore people think they're lying, but they've just been so traumatized, their body is trying to go into normal mode and not over traumatize them, basically. So that's another reason why it's hard to identify a human trafficker, because even if they are willing, they give no indication that they've been so traumatized, because their brain is overloaded with trauma. There is so much more information about this, and I can put links down below. I'm not a spokesperson or anything like that. I just feel it's really important. I'm glad this video wasn't as long as I expected, but it's still very important to know that there are many, many victims out there of human trafficking, and just be safe. There was a victim of a woman who was walking to her car out of a Walmart, and these men grabbed her, and the next thing she knew, she woke up and she was in this room, and these men, they were injecting her with heroin, and once she came back to, they would keep injecting her until they had her trapped for 4 months, and they think they got her. Then they think that they had a hold of her because she was so screwed up from what they had been doing to her, and luckily she was able to get out, but it was still so terrifying. So if you're outside in an area you don't know, it's a big city, it's an unfamiliar area, be very cautious. Make sure you are around someone you know, or you're on the phone with someone, because even talking with someone as it's happening, anything could help. I mean, take the movie Taken, for example. I watched the movie when I was in high school. My dad made us watch it, and it was terrifying, and I still don't want to rewatch it because it was so scary, and it is some people's reality. So I know that wasn't a light-heartening video, but I really wanted you guys to know about that, and I thought it was really important information, especially since this month, as I said in my other video, that it is Sexual Assault Awareness Month. So thank you guys for watching, and next week's video is going to be a lot happier, but alright, I'll see you guys later. Bye.